Social distancing, please, if I can do that.
So we are here first to appreciate His Excellency, the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Nigerian Armed Forces, Muhammadu Buhari, and the Chairman of the Presidential Task Force Committee on the COVID-19 pandemic, and also the CDC, the NCDC, for all that you are doing, especially your response to this pandemic that is ravaging the world and our nation. And we are indeed very grateful to the President and the governors of the states and the Federal Capital Territory Minister for the prompt action being taken in order to respond and to control and fight this pandemic that has evaded the world and brought everything to a standstill. Indeed, we are grateful, and we come to show our support to what you are doing and also to contribute our quota in this fight. As part of our contribution, we are approaching this issue in three ways. First is our spiritual response in prayer. We know that without the help of God, we can do nothing. And we are trusting the Lord, who has promised us and also encouraged us not to be afraid, especially when things like this happen and we seem not to know what to do. In Isaiah chapter 43, 2, verses 1 and 2, he has asked us not to be afraid, that he is with us. We want to encourage you and your team, and indeed the whole Nigerians, that the Lord is with us. God will help us. For he says that even when we pass through the waters, it will not overwhelm us. If we pass through the rivers, it will not carry us away. And if we pass through the fire will not consume us. If we look at the situation, it may seem as if the fire is burning and there is nothing that can be done. Even in this situation, we want to assure Nigerians that the Lord is with us. He will help us. He will defend us. He will fight for us. He will heal the sick and comfort the bereaved and help the downtrodden. He has always been the helper of the poor and the needy. So our response to this situation is, first of all, prayer. We have encouraged every member of the Church of Nigeria Anglican Communion to be in prayers. And since the 1st of April, every Wednesday and Friday is declared days of solemn prayer, fasting and prayer. And our desire and expectation is that God will answer us as he promised and also heal our land and heal our people. The second is that we have asked every bishop and diocese and every parish to build up their food store and to help our members, indigent members, not only the members of the church, but also our neighbors, all those around us. And with this response, we have seen dioceses taking actions, parishes helping their members, and encouraging them, because this is surely a passing phase. It will come and it will pass away, and we will live to give glory to God. And the other prong in this, in responding to this COVID-19, is to support the government, both at state and federal level. And that is one of the things that has brought us today, to identify with you and your committee, your task force, in this fight, to assure you that we are standing with you and you have the support of the Church of Nigeria. And to this end, we have seen actions being taken, even at regional, provincial, and state levels. We are here today representing the bishops and archbishops, the clergy, and the laity of the Church of Nigeria, bringing our contribution in material terms. And we are here with the medical consumables to identify and stand with those who are in the front line of this battle, especially those gallant and brave medical doctors and nurses and healthcare givers who risk their lives daily on our behalf to care for those that are infected. So we have brought some medical consumables, the PPE, examination gloves, medical gloves, and 3M aura protective face mask, NCP hand sanitizers, NCP hand sanitizers, both of 100 or 110 milliliters, and also the 500. And also we have brought some NCP antiseptic liquid so that they will use in their work and in this fight. This is our contribution, our little contribution. And we are also standing by to do more. And we trust that the Lord will help us. In addition to this, we are also encouraging our dioceses and what we are bringing in this visit may be of about about 10 million naira worth. And we have also asked our dioceses to do something to help the state governments and their regional areas. The Ecclesiastical Province of Lagos has given 5 million naira donation to the Lagos state government and 5 million naira donation to Ogun state government. The Lagos diocese has also given 5 million naira to Lagos state government. And they have also distributed 20 million naira worth of food and medical consumables to Lagos state government. And about 700,000 naira worth of medical supplies to the Lagos State University Teaching Hospital. Lagos West Diocese has also given about 5.4 million naira worth of things, palliatives to Lagos State also. And we have also done something in Abuja here. The churches within Abuja here, Abuja Diocese has distributed food that is worth up to 5 million naira. And our parishes are helping our people. The Diocese of Asaba has also, by last weekend, they distributed food that is worth up to 4 million naira to the people in our rural localities. And we are standing shoulder to shoulder, not only in prayers, but in using the resources that the Lord has given us. And we are encouraging our people to do more, because this is an uncertain time, and the challenge is getting more and more as we see the number of infected people increasing, and that our people be patient. If we will stand in faith, in hope, and the little support that we can give to one another, we are trusting God that we shall defeat COVID-19 together, and we shall live to give the testimony of what God has done for us. So on behalf of the Church of Nigeria Anglican Communion, we come to stand with you and to encourage you and to pray for the Presidential Task Force and other committees that are working, both at federal and state levels, that we are together with you in this fight. The Lord will help you, and the Lord will save us and deliver us. We also want to use this opportunity to bring our condolence to His Excellency the President, and expressing our condolence for the demise of the Chief of Staff to the President, Abba Kere. And Abba Kere was an old student of the Anglican Secondary School, St. Paul's College, Kufena, Usasa, Zaria. And so for us, it's a loss of one of us, one of our own, because if anything, the Anglican Church contributed in his formation as a young man. And we thank God that he has served this nation dutifully and with commitment and patriotism. And we pray for the consolation of the family, the presidency, and our nation, Nigeria. Thank you, sir. It's our condolence.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. The Primate of all Nigeria Church of Nigeria, the Anglican Communion, my Lord Bishops, Madam, and other men of God that have accompanied my Lord, the Archbishop of Abuja Diocese and the Primate of the Anglican Communion, Permanent Secretary, GSO, and other government officials. Let me start on this very positive note by congratulating you, sir, on your election and also installation as the Primate of the Anglican Communion in Nigeria. We were looking forward to a very great celebration. I received the personal invitation of your predecessor, the Archbishop Nicholas Oko, to attend, and we were all preparing for that glorious outing, his official exit as the Primate and your installation as the new Primate. But as God would have it, it was low-keyed, and we were not privileged to attend, but we believe and trust that in the session of your tenure, there will be many, many more celebrations that we will be privileged to attend. So this morning, on behalf of the President and the government of Nigeria, I want to extend our congratulations to you and the family and the church in its entirety. And our prayer is that during your reign, may the church continue to prosper, may it grow in leaps and bounds, and may the purpose for which Jesus Christ established his church be fulfilled under your leadership as the Primate of the Anglican Communion. I want to thank you for this visit and to truly, truly appreciate what the church has decided as its response to this particular season and times in which we find ourselves. I have received your letter earlier, and I looked at it, and I saw the number of interventions that the church has involved itself in. And on behalf of the President and the Presidential Task Force on COVID-19, we want to personally extend our gratitude to the church for the wonderful way that the church had stepped up to its responsibility. The church is the bastion of compassion for the people. And at this very critical moment of our life, there is nowhere to find succor more than the church. By way of words of counsel, by way of even looking at the spiritual needs of members of your congregation and extending a helping hand to the areas in where you operate. And you've demonstrated that by the 3 steps that you've enumerated this morning. First, the area of prayer. If we had not prayed in this nation before, this is the time to pray. This is the time to pray and call upon the God of heaven for his mercy upon our nation. Nobody prepares for this pandemic. But as believers, we are not left without a witness that it's instructive. When you read the scriptures, you come across the fact that there are predictions of the fact that perilous times will come. Times of plagues and all sorts of pandemics will come. But the encouragement we have is that he has told us to be of good cheer because he has overcome. Even with COVID-19, Nigeria would overcome. Because that's the assurance we have. That God is looking after all of us. And because he has a plan and a purpose for why he created a nation like Nigeria, he will not allow the devil to truncate his program. His agenda must be fulfilled, whether the devil likes it or not. And in building his church, he said he will build his church upon this rock, that even the gates of hell cannot prevail against it. So COVID-19 is a small devil that is playing around. But God would definitely overcome it. For the sake of the righteous, he will not allow this pandemic to consume us. And that's why the place of prayer is important, sir. And I want to thank you that the church has on its own decided that 2 days in a week is devoted to solemn time of fasting and prayer for the nation and for the entire world. The other area is what you have done, and which I must say it's gratifying. You've asked your bishops, build up your food banks. Make sure there is food available to the indigent members of the congregation, and also extend a helping hand to be truly your brother's keepers. There can be a better demonstration of our Christian faith more than being our brother's keepers at this particular moment. Because this is the moment that people are asking, why is God in this? And the only way you can confirm to them that God exists is when you extend this help to them in these very perilous times. So you have demonstrated that by the second step that you have taken. And by extension, the support that you have given, the third step, support that you have given to governments at different levels. What that tells those of us that are in government is that, look, the church is behind you. Not only playing with you, not only extending support to members of the congregation and the community where they exist, by demonstrating their true Christian values, but we are also stepping up our action by identifying with what you are doing. I know that the Anglican Church is one church that has already told its members, stay at home. And the only way we can deal with this pandemic, scientifically established, is when we reduce communication and flow of traffic between people. We've looked at the modelings. We've seen that about 45%, you can achieve about 45% of, if you restrict movement, of reducing the chances of infection. Face mask probably is about 7%, social distancing about 6 or 7%, but the cessation of movement contributes about 45%. I know it's very difficult for the churches now that have been used to congregating. But I told myself when I was live streaming the Sunday service from my local church, and I said, well, probably we're being reminded that the church is not the building.
It's not the building.
It dawned on me that we're being reminded, God is using this process to remind us that the church is not the building. The church is you and I and what we carry in our hand. So as difficult as these times are, I want to truly, sir, on behalf of the government, thank you for what you're doing with the leadership of the Anglican Communion in assisting the government, in telling our congregants the need to stay at home, the need to observe personal hygiene, washing of hands, using sanitizer or any locally processed one. I now see that the local ones are coming on stream. And the need to stay apart, maintain social distancing, all in an effect to reduce the rate of transmission, and so that we can flatten the curve and begin to take people out of the communities, isolate them, trace them, test them if they show symptoms or don't show symptoms, provided they are contacts. That way we can now get on top of the situation. Sir, except for God, you can see how countries with well-established medical infrastructure are crumbling under the weight of COVID-19. Except for God, our story would have been different. But I know we serve a very merciful and gracious God that is full of compassion. And because of the cries of his children and the prayers that are ascending to the throne of grace, he has a listening ear. He listens to us. And because of our cry, he will definitely answer our prayers and heal this land. Going forward, I believe that Nigeria will emerge strong with your support, with your prayers, and our lives will never be the same again. After COVID-19, this country will never be the same again. And lastly, I want to thank you with the leadership of church for extending your condolences over the demise of your old student. A lot of people never knew the Mala Abba went to Kufena St. Paul's College, Zaria, until he passed on. People began to hear that he spent 5 good years in Kufena. So I want to thank you for extending those condolences. And this letter will get to the President. And I think at an appointed time you will receive an acknowledgement over it. So with these very few remarks, on behalf of the President and Government of Nigeria, I want to truly appreciate you and the leadership of the Church for finding time to come at this very critical moment and for identifying what government is doing in the overall interest of our people. And I ask that you extend the gratitude of the government and the President to the congregation and tell them that we truly appreciate it. And we urge them to continue to do more because we are still in the midst of this thing. We don't know when it will end. But God, in His perfect wisdom, will terminate this thing at His own time. We just have to do our bit, and I believe that the Church is doing its bit. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Contribution and the assurance that we are standing with you, and we are also concerned for those who are in the front line of this battle. So please, you take care of them.
Thank you so much.